Good evening, everyone, and thank you all for coming. When I sat down to write the speech, I really didn't even know where to begin. Partly because I was on the couch and NCIS was on, but let's ignore that. What made writing this so difficult was the fact that there was really so much to talk about. Once I started thinking about everything that I've done in scouting, I finally realized something. This ceremony really is the pinnacle of 12 years of my life that I spent learning new knots, going camping, making new friends, and most importantly, breaking all of Weezy's rules. The trail to Eagle is filled with so many unforgettable moments, like the time on the Baltimore hike when Matt Goins decided to roll down a hill and ended up getting covered in dog poop in the process.
Hey, you.
And the year at summer camp when we accidentally dropped a log on Matt Alden's head. We had to go to the hospital and get it stapled up. But enough about that. Those moments, although quite memorable, are not what Weezy wants me to talk about. I should be telling you about everything that scouting has taught me and thanking all the people that helped me get to where I am today. By the way, up until now, I've been using a technique that I learned while taking public speaking merit badge. It involves talking about things that aren't quite what I should be talking about and talking about them quite a lot. Also known as stalling. After sitting through that merit badge class, you'll talk about pretty much anything to get your speech past that required 10-minute mark. Especially with Weezy standing 10 feet away, giving you the raised eyebrow look, and all the while counting the number of times to say but, or, and. I'm sure a lot of us can attest to this. Okay, back to the main topic of my speech. And I've said it a few times. When someone asks me, what has scouting taught you? I tell them that it can't be put into a sentence, a paragraph, or even a speech. And it wasn't until I was writing this that I figured out how to demonstrate everything that I learned from the program. I was looking at my merit badge sash, which I'm wearing on my hip over here, and I realized that it tells the story of everything I've done throughout my years with Troop 95. If I hadn't learned things I did in the first aid, emergency preparedness, and swimming merit badges, I probably wouldn't be a lifeguard today. If it wasn't for citizenship in the community, it's a mouthful, nation, and world, they taught me that what it means to be a good member of society. The rifle merit badge taught me how to properly handle and use a gun. And the cinematography merit badge taught me not to text in merit badge class, because Weezy will find out. Each one of these colorful little circles has a story behind it, some of them good and some of them bad, but I can safely say that each one of them has taught me something. There are also some things that I've learned from scouting that can't be taught in a merit badge class, or even in a single day, like how to be a good leader and how to work well with others. It's things like these that are instilled within us from our first day as Boy Scouts, all the way until the day that we reach the rank of Eagle, that make the program so worthwhile. Scouting has been a way of life for me ever since I was very young, when my dad took me to my first Cub Scout meeting. Going to meetings became a weekly thing, and then of course resident camp every summer. And then once I moved up into the troop, monthly campouts became normal, and along with countless hours of community service. Once I reached the rank of life, the rank right below Eagle, it became time to start coming up with ideas for my Eagle project. I knew immediately that I wanted to do something for the museum because I'd done previous service projects for them through my middle school. Mr. Bowden approached my dad with a few things that need to be done around here, and rebuilding the benches ended up being what I chose. Now, I'd heard at some previous Eagle ceremonies that up until this point in my life, this should be the hardest thing that I've ever done. And of course, being young and foolish, I didn't believe it. But what was I wrong? By the end of the project, we totaled over 200 hours working on those benches. But as you can see from outside, it was well worth it. If it wasn't for the help of all my friends, family, and fellow scouts, I never would have been able to complete this project. I also have to send a special thank you to Mr. Baker for sitting on our driveway when it was freezing cold for hours on end, grinding all the old paint off the benches. And for Mr. Caraway for letting us use his air compressor and sandblasting cabinet. If it wasn't for them, I'd still be sitting there scraping away with a wire brush like I was when they found me. Also, I'd like to thank the Lewises and the Olenderskis for their generous contribution to my project. Mumford Sheet Metal for donating some of the hardware that we needed and giving us a discount on the rest of it. Schoen Lumber for giving us a discount and cutting all the boards that we needed to the correct lengths that we needed. And finally, Mr. Bowden and Miss Walls for giving me the idea for my project and being gracious enough to let me have my ceremony here. There have been so many people involved in my life that have helped me get to where I am today, and most of them are here tonight. So I just want to say thank you to everyone who has helped me. Looking back now, I really appreciate all the help and guidance I've received from my friends and family. As I'm preparing to leave for college in just 2 short weeks, I'm starting to realize that my life is going to change in a big way. I'll admit it, I'm nervous, but who isn't? I figure if I can survive a week in the Canadian wilderness, I can survive my dorm room. Even if it is with Matt. The Boy Scouts of America have taught me how to survive more than just the woods. It's taught me how to survive life. and I think I'm off to a pretty good start so far. So now it's my turn to get back to the program. I'm at the end of this part of my life, and I've achieved my goal. What's next? I know one day my kids will be in scouting, and I'll be a leader like my dad, which means I'll have to go through the same thing he did to get me here, so I'll probably be turning to him for advice on more than one occasion. But that's a ways down the road. For now, I'm going to challenge every scout who is still climbing the trail to Eagle to keep pushing. It may seem like it can't be done, but trust me, it can. I did. And when the going gets tough, just remember that you have a huge support group behind you. All of your friends, family, and fellow scouts are here to help you, and believe me, you will need their help. Now I'm going to copy what my friend Matt did at his ceremony, and I'm going to leave you with this poem, which at the time I thought was pretty corny. No offense, Matt. But now it seems like a great idea because it makes my speech longer. It's called Change Your World by Brian Tracy. You cannot change the world, but you can present the world with one improved person, yourself. You can go to work on yourself to make yourself into the kind of person you admire and respect. You can become a role model and set a standard for others. You can control and discipline yourself to resist acting or speaking in a negative way toward anyone for any reason. You can insist upon always doing things the loving way rather than the hurtful way. By doing these things each day, you can continue on your journey toward becoming an exceptional human being. Now I'd like to ask my dad to come forward. Don't worry, it's good, it's not bad. When Wheezy told me to pick someone who I looked up to throughout my scouting career and someone who helped me the most, there was no doubt in my mind that it was my dad. He was there all the way from the beginning, the first scout meeting, all the way up until standing up here now with me, putting my neckerchief on. So I just want to give him this mentor pin.